standing here at the top of Northgate Locks on the Shropshire Union Canal in Chester. The canal has just come through the dramatic Northgate cutting, running below the Roman walls of the city. And this cutting itself is one of the major heritage features of the waterways, not just of Chester, but of the waterways in the country as a whole. The canal reaches the top lock here at Northgate, and it suddenly drops 33 feet down towards the River Dee. Chester is embraced by its waterways. The heart of the city is bounded on the north side by the Shropshire Union Canal here, on the west side by the River Dee. Also on the south side, the River Dee, the tidal Dee, runs round to the south of the city. And then at the Weir, the non-tidal Dee flows from Farndon and North Wales. The two waterways indeed come within a quarter of a mile of each other in the Bolton area of the city. Despite this, Chester's waterways are frequently ignored by Chesterians themselves and are probably unknown to most of the visitors to the city. Nevertheless, this heritage of waterways in Chester was recognised in 2021 by the designation of Chester as a heritage port. Indeed, the first heritage port combining maritime and inland waterway characteristics in Britain. We hope that the designation of Chester as this heritage port will be a force for actually helping to bring about increased regeneration of the waterways themselves and of the city more generally, from an economic, a social and indeed a physical environment point of view. We're now on the site of the old snuff mills that used to be here in the many centuries up until the 1950s. And what you see behind me is the old mill race which used to power the water wheel for the snuff mills. Now, most of this trip around Chester's waterways, we've seen significant and interesting features. But latterly, it's become rather a tale of lost opportunities, problems, what we call these days challenges. And the Weir itself is perhaps the biggest challenge that faces any navigation on the river. However, there is a possible way around this, which might put new life into Chester's waterways and indeed make them a joined up system, attractive both to boaters of one sort or another, but also people more generally. It could make Chester a much more vibrant waterway city. The fact is that this mill race is a lock-shaped space. It would be possible to put a lock in this location here, and boats could then navigate up the river at suitable states of the tide and pass through easily up onto the upper river, and indeed vice versa. And it might even be possible for maritime boats to come in as well and also get onto the upper river. If that became possible, it would also make it worthwhile to restore the Dee branch of the canal. So we could have a situation in the future where Chester's waterways were not a fragmented bunch of stretches of water, the canal, Dee branch, the tidal Dee or the upper Dee, but in fact a continuously navigable system, a joined up system. Back in 2014, a consortium of people, Cheshire West and Chester Authority, the Canal and River Trust, the Inland Waterways Association and the Chester Canal Heritage Trust worked together to produce the Chester Waterways Strategy. And one of the things that they proposed in that strategy was to have a feasibility study into putting a lock in the Mill Race at this point. And we hope that in the reasonably near future, we will be able to demonstrate that this scheme is feasible and could be a major shot in the arm for waterways in the future.